Hello, my spooky crew. Fancy entering the crypt with me today and learning some more spooky tales. This one is sort of for Sophie. Thank you so much for your comment on my Ghosts of Sidmouth video. I will link that there for those who haven't seen it. I have been researching. I have looked up, I'm sure when I did the first video there were more things that I saw for Sidmouth, but on this strange occasion, the ghosty seems to have gone down a rabbit hole of invisibility and I can't find that many more. There was one about a cryptoid, a killer octopus in the 1800s, but that I discovered seems to have been actually, I think it was a Jules Verne book. It was either a Jules Verne or someone quite like him who wrote those sort of stories, and he based it in Sidmouth, and it was this killer octopus and everything. So, you know, not a real mysterious thing, but I have found lots and lots of ghosts in the East Devon and Sidmouth area, so hopefully, Sophie, that'll be okay. I can do a part 2, maybe even 3 on that one if you're still interested, because there's quite a few. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of Ghosts, Myths and Legends. Are you sitting comfortably? Shall we begin? Our tale is all about the ghosts of East Devon, of which there are many, 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 many. To start off, we are going to Giddisham Common. On Putt's Corner on the Sidmouth to Honiton Road is the Hare and Hounds, a really nice pub, do really nice food. Haven't been for a while, but it is very nice. Anyway, it used to be called the Hunter's Lodge. In the 17th century, it was a popular hangout for poachers and smugglers and all those unsavoury characters due to its quite isolated position. The legend goes that many murders have been committed there, and because it's at a crossroads, a lot of criminals, as was the tradition back in the day, were hung and buried at crossroads, so to confuse their spirits from ever finding their way back to cause trouble, and just that sort of confusing the dead kind of thing. Now, one of the criminals that was hung there and I think buried around the crossroads was a man called Michael Moray. Now, Michael Moray was a woodcutter and he had a very wicked, violent temper. In 1736, he let his temper get the best of him and he apparently committed one of the most horrific crimes you can commit. He murdered his grandson. Dun, 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 dun. He killed the boy and then chopped up his body and buried the pieces in the wood. He sort of thought that was the end of it, he'd get away with it and just carried on his usual day-to-day activity. But the locals, because we're a savvy bunch down here, thought he was acting really suspicious and there was something really weird going on. And obviously the boy had disappeared, so there was a big sort of like ding 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 moment. So, and a warrant was put out for his arrest and he was finally caught and arrested, and within a few weeks the body of the poor boy was found. He always said that he was innocent, that he hadn't done it. We can't go back in time to ask him, but if he was acting suspicious and everything, probably was a good indicator, but we'll leave that there. Anyway, the jury and the judge back then did find him guilty and they sentenced him to be hung and left to rot at the gallows until justice was done. So that happened, but then the gibbet of the gallows that hung Michael was then used in the roof construction of the Hare and Hounds. Now, after this happened and the Hare and Hounds pub went up, but the Hunter's Lodge, it was them. It wasn't long before Michael, his ghost, made itself at home, and it wasn't long before he made his presence known they would have objects move, glasses smash. You'd hear heavy footsteps from the roof space, like where his gibbet was. But the Hare and Hounds hasn't just got its share of ghosties. The Hare and Hounds is also home to a large witch's stone. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, every time I check my notes, I feel like I'm doing the news. Which is right at the front of the pub, that big white stone there in the picture. Now, it's also known as the Slaughter Stone, and this is where witches would apparently come and sacrifice victims, basically. There's a tale about a young man who caught them doing these vile deeds. Witches get such a bad rap in these stories. It kind of pissed me off. But anyway, and they caught him, and I think they beheaded him on the witch's stone, and his body turned to stone, and that's one of the other smaller stones that you see behind. Something like that. I could find out more and put it in the comments below. But apparently, every night when the Sidbury church bells ring, at 3 a.m, the witch's stone rolls itself down the hill to the River Sid, washes itself of all the blood and the poison and just like the whole filth and dirt that it feels from what has happened on it, and then rolls itself back up to the hill to take its place outside of the Hare and Hounds. We go into Honiton now, and at Marlpits Lane we have a phantom soldier. He's meant to have fought in the Battle of Sedgemoor and is believed to be one of the Duke of Monmouth's men. The Battle of Sedgemoor, here comes the history part because I like to just bring you facts as well, was the last and decisive fight between the Kingdom of England and the Monmouth Rebellion. This took place on the 6th of July 1685, and it was near Bridgewater in Somerset. Anyway, our phantom soldier, he appears only to children, and he is seen to be wearing a long brown coat, and he's covered in mud, and he staggers, and he seems to be oblivious to all who see him. I'm trying to resist the dun 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 edge. A while ago, a group of school children, while out with their school mistresses, it was quite a long time ago, started huddling together in terror when they saw this man appear, and he was staggering along and doing his dazed and befuddled thing, and they were even more terrified when a car appeared and he just disappeared. Now, the teachers, who themselves hadn't seen him, they actually did believe the children because they were so blinking petrified that it wasn't a hoax. They really knew that these kids were fucking petrified. So they did some research and a bit of digging, and I mean digging the research kind. They didn't try digging to find his body. But anyway, they found out that there was in fact a Honiton man who had lived in one of the cottages at Marlpits Lane, and he had indeed fought at the Battle of Sedgemoor. Now, he apparently had deserted and had made his way home, but some other soldiers spotted him, and he was only a few yards away from his home. In fact, when it happened, he was brutally murdered for his desertion in full view of his wife and 3 children, which I'm wondering is why he only appears to children. But sad tale indeed, that one. Then, my lovelies, we are heading to Blackberry Camp near Sidmouth. Blackberry Camp is an Iron Age hill fort, and it is beloved by many for its scenery, its woods, its peace and quiet, and its bluebells in the springtime. But is it haunted by the ghosts of Iron Age warriors? One November day in 1969, a man named Terry, who was an RAC patrolman, decided it was a nice day and he was going to enjoy his coffee and packed lunch in the van around Blackberry Camp. And like you do, he must have eaten his food or something, had a bit of time left, and thought, I'm going to stroll around and have a look. It's a nice day. even though it was like a nice day and, you know, it was still late autumn, so the sky was grey and there was an eerie silence when he got out of the van for a stroll around, which kind of helped give it a spooky atmosphere. Now, as he's leaving his van, he's walking around, he heard a whooshing sound and then a thud coming from behind him, and saw a thick branch rolling down from where it had landed. Within a few minutes, there were a few more of these thuds, and then another and another. He checked around, and when he was sure that they weren't just like logs that were falling down from the trees or branches that had fallen down, he decided he would have a look around to see if there was someone there playing tricks or trying to be an arsehole and just like throw logs and stuff at him. He didn't see anyone nearby. You'd have to be pretty close to throw them within, you know, that sort of distance, and that whooshing sound apparently. And the trees are too slender for anyone to be hiding behind. So it was like getting a bit like, all right, this is a little bit, So like any sane person would do in these really weird situations, and I'm not saying this in a sarcastic way, like some you say, he didn't go searching. He hot-footed it back to his van, because that's what most people would do. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to go there with what I would do, because I don't know. I have got a habit of I'd look into it and then be petrified. But anyway, most normal people do what he did, hot-footed it to the van. On his way there were 3 more logs that flew at him. When in his van, he had a few large bangs on the van roof, followed by another, and just as he's driving away, he checks the wing mirror and he sees some logs rolling away from where he'd fallen from the van. He managed to get far enough away so that he could stop, and he got out and he inspected the van, and there were actually a couple of large dents on the van roof, so it shook him up again. I don't know if he went back there, but Iron Age warriors were known to use large wooden objects as weapons, so branches and sticks they could find. So did he walk into an age-old repeated battle of Iron Age warriors? And that is just the tip of the iceberg. As I said, there are actually quite a few East Devon ghosties, so if you do want to see a part 2, comment below, let me know, and I will get down some more rabbit holes and see what we can see. If you liked it, thumbs up, subscribe, please subscribe, it does really help. Hit the ding-a-ling, all that jazz. Take a moment, take a deep breath after our journey of ghosties. Take 5 minutes for yourself to look out the window, have a cuppa, something stronger if you're allowed. Thank you for spending your spare time watching me, listening to me rant on and just be myself. Yeah, you are valued, you are appreciated. It means a lot when you do watch and you do comment and you let me know sort of what you want to see more of or what you don't, and it's nice to engage with you guys. So once again, thank you. Remember, if you can't be good, be careful. You mean so much to me. Please do subscribe. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed and you like it, please just hit that button. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to. Again, just subscribe, it helps. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, gone completely out of my noggin. Thank you for entering the crypt with me once more, and I will see you